Frisco ISD is telling parents it will have to respond to a subpoena over a deadly stabbing at a track meet.
The district will be required to list the other students at that April track meet. Former student Carmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Austin Metcalf. It's part of the preparation as both sides get ready for trial. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has the latest in the case. Peyton.
Heather, and we are 10 months out from the trial for Carmelo Anthony. Subpoenas are common during this pre-trial phase, but this case has so much publicity, people are following every step of the way. Now, the law requires school districts like Frisco ISD behind me to notify families when it does indeed receive a lawful subpoena.
Frisco ISD now subpoenaed by a Collin County District Court to provide a list of the students who attended the April 2nd track meet where Memorial High School student Austin Metcalf was fatally stabbed. A letter was sent home to parents on Thursday. It asked for each student's full name, date of birth, address, and parents' name and contact information. Student information is normally protected by the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, but subpoenas take precedence over that law. Attorney Russell Wilson is not associated with this case.
It does not mean that every person on that list would actually be a witness or even testify in the case, but it may mean that some individuals on that list may be followed up on for more information.
Carmelo Anthony is charged with murder. Police say Anthony, a student from Centennial High, stabbed Metcalf during a fight in the bleachers. According to the original police report, witnesses told officers Metcalf confronted Anthony about being under the wrong tent. Words were exchanged, and then Anthony pulled a knife out of his bag. The defense argues Anthony stabbed Metcalf in self-defense. Anthony's set to stand trial June 1st, 2026. This subpoena of potential witnesses, according to Wilson, all part of the pretrial.
I would presume it would be more expanded than what was in the police report. The police may have initially just talked to a smaller group of individuals, but because it's a public event, the attorney for the young man may say, hey, I would rather get a broader list of individuals.
Frisco ISD forced to comply with the subpoena. However, families who received the letter can file a protective order, which would prevent their personal information from being shared with the court.
And if parents do indeed want to file that protective order, the district told them they need to do that by July 29th. That's on Tuesday. Wilson also tells me that the state on their own or the defense on their own can file their own protective orders as well to limit that public access. Heather?
All right.
Fox 4.
One man is facing charges after a home break-in ended in gunfire. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Police say 3 armed men broke into a home in Fort Worth. The owner was also home and grabbed his gun. Fox 4's David Centenry has the latest from this investigation tonight. David.
Well, right now, police believe this break-in may have been random, meaning that the victim and the suspects did not know each other prior to the shootout. Fort Worth Police Department received a call around 3 a.m. Friday from a man off East Maddox Avenue who was alone at his home until he wasn't.
Who starts giving us detailed information about individuals trying to break into his house that have multiple weapons and masks covering their face.
3 masked and armed intruders. The man in the home taking action.
Grabs his own handgun and starts to protect himself.
Police say there was an exchange of gunfire. The victim outnumbered.
So he went and retrieved another weapon and also returned fire.
During the shootout, police say the victim shot one of the 3 suspects.
Boom, 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 boom. Then stopped and started again.
Neighbor Charles Wilbur heard the gunfire and saw suspects running away.
He jumped in the white truck.
Police say one wounded suspect was found a block away. He's identified as 23-year-old Anthony Beza, charged with burglary of a habitation. A frightening morning for people in the Hillside, Morningside neighborhood.
That kind of woke me up, and I put my dog up and stuff and kind of was like freaking out because I was like, okay, hopefully they don't shoot through the house, you know what I mean?
especially concerning because police believe the suspects may not be connected to the victim.
Right now, we don't believe they are, but we're still trying to figure out the exact motive on why they would break into this specific house.
But possibly a random break-in.
It could be random.
Again, police still searching for 2 of those suspects. The third one, who was shot, is still at a hospital, according to some records that we checked out. That's why we do not have a mugshot at this point in time of that third person who was charged. As far as the victim, the person who was inside that home, he only had a minor injury, cutting his leg on grass while escaping. Steve and Heather, back to y'all.
All right, David Centendry live tonight. Thank you.
In recent weeks, 2 men in North Texas have been murdered by a current or former intimate partner. 26 men in Texas were killed by female partners in 2023. The Family Place domestic violence shelter wants men in abusive relationships to know they have a place to turn for help. Fox 4's Sean Rabb reports.
A shooting earlier this month inside the shops at Redbird left 1 man dead. Days later, a man is shot and killed in the barber's chair at an Arlington business park. Both killed by women in current or past relationships. The kind of domestic violence we mostly see carried out by men against women, but not always.
And in 2024, 35 men and their children could have been a fatality if the Family Place did not have this in place.
This place is the Family Place shelter for men who are escaping violent relationships.
They get life skills, they get all type of resources, stable environment, counseling, everything to help them become self-sufficient and free from domestic violence. So if we provide that service for women and they are victims of domestic violence, why would we not provide that service for men?
Well, I went through a domestic situation, just like ended a relationship, and found myself to be in a unexpected, homeless situation. One of the officers that responded that day referred me to the Family Place, and then I went.
Sylvester got both the help he needed to not only become stable, but to begin again.
I'm in a such better place, and I look back at where I came from, it's just like, man, I thank God for real.
Your life is valuable, and it's particularly valuable for the next generation. And if you're a man with children, children live what they learn. Break the cycle of domestic violence and pay it forward.
Sean Rabb, Fox 4 News.
If you need help, man or woman, the Family Place has a 24-hour hotline, and we have a link to that number on our website, fox4news.com.
21-year-old Dallas County Jail inmate died from a drug overdose.
The sheriff's office says another inmate, a 26-year-old, now charged with murder for smuggling and distributing the drugs. Fox 4's Stephen Dial live at the jail with more. Stephen.
Yeah, Daisy Zuniga is the person charged with murder in this, connected to that fentanyl overdose. And according to court documents, they say that she admitted to smuggling them inside her body. The investigation started July 13th when 21-year-old inmate Quinetta Brinkley died at Parkland Hospital. Brinkley was found unresponsive at the jail. Investigators say she and other inmates consumed fentanyl. A total of 4 inmates were said to be in medical distress. We asked Commissioner John Riley Price for his reaction to the smuggled contraband.
Officer safety is an imperative, and so they're looking primarily for weapons, but they're not exploring, all of their cavities, and unfortunately, sometimes some things happen. I mean, we do pat down searches.
Court documents say sheriff detectives went into a cell and observed a blue baggie containing a white substance, which gave a positive result as fentanyl. When detectives interviewed witnesses, one of the inmates told them the group ingested the drug once between lunch and dinner, then again after dinner, and that was when the victim became unresponsive. 26-year-old Daisy Zuniga is now charged with murder in connection to Brinkley's death. Zuniga was arrested on July 11th for drug possession and trespass. Investigators say Zuniga admitted to supplying the drugs. In the arrest warrant affidavit, she stated she successfully made it through the X-ray scanner and a strip search without the drugs being detected.
I want to say hopefully it's a one-off, but we're not going to check every cavity. You know, we can't. But the officers know what to do.
Commissioner Price said while the death is a concern, he does not think this incident is an indictment on jail staff.
The officers know what to do. They're doing that. So they're not totally reliant on just what we call the screening machine. They're patting people down as well. When you look at urban counties, when you look at where Dallas County is on in-custody death, I mean, we're at the bottom.
And he is accurate on that. The last in-custody death in Dallas County was earlier this year, according to John Wiley Price. Some neighboring counties have had more reports that have been reported. We reached out to the Dallas County Sheriff's Office to see if they had any further comment beyond their statement yesterday, and they said it's an ongoing investigation.
All right, that's Stephen Dahl right outside the jail in Dallas. Thanks, Stephen. An off-duty officer was injured in a traffic accident while working a part-time job in a construction zone. Hello and good evening. I'm Steve Eager.
I'm Heather Hayes. That accident happened along Interstate 20 westbound near the Dowdy Ferry exit in southern Dallas. The officer is from the Hawk Cove Police Department. That's in Hunt County. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in the newsroom with what he's learned.
Sean. Yeah, like you said, it happened on I-20 westbound around Dowdy Ferry between the Trinity River and Highway 310. Two vehicles, both trucks involved in the crash about 2:30 this afternoon. Let's take a look now at some video from Sky 4. The officer, we believe, was working traffic in the construction zone, sitting in his vehicle, this pickup truck, that was struck from behind by another pickup. That truck had a trailer and lawn care equipment on it. Now, sources tell Fox 4 that the officer was alert and talking as he was being helped by other officers. There was a huge traffic backup, though, as Dallas Sheriff's deputies began to work the accident scene and get traffic moving again. For a time, that backup all the way to Highway 80 in Mesquite. Two people were transported from the scene. We know one ambulance went to Baylor Hospital, and sources say both of the people taken to area hospitals right now in stable condition. Lots of officers from other departments outside of the Metroplex work these high-paying part-time jobs, keeping highway construction workers safe. Remember, though, in construction zones, slow down. Those officers are many times in vehicles that may not have a light bar on the roof, but they always have red and blue flashing lights, and police on their vehicles. And when you can, move over and pay attention to the shifting traffic patterns in construction zones. Could have been a far different outcome today.
All right, Sean Rabb in our newsroom. Thank you, Sean.
Okay.
For the first time, the man who says two criminally indicted judges conspired against him is sharing his story. He explains how he was pressured to take a plea deal on a charge that has since been vacated. The Office of Justice of the Peace Robert Jenkins Franklin in Rains County, 70 miles east of Dallas, was recently taped off. County leaders say it was out of an abundance of caution to secure all materials and data within that office. Fox 4's David Centendry joins us live. And David, have investigators publicly discussed a motive?
Yeah, Clarice, people I'm speaking with still have no idea what this motive might be. The victim in this case was initially charged with publishing intimate visual material, as you mentioned, a charge that is now vacated after a judge allegedly called him up with a death threat, pressuring him to take a plea deal.
If it can happen to me, it can happen to somebody else.
Kobe Wiebe filed a federal lawsuit against Rains County Justice of the Peace Robert Jenkins Franklin in May. Last week, Wiebe added County Judge Linda Wallace to the lawsuit.
You know, if I destroyed evidence and tampered with it, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
The lawsuit alleges a coordinated campaign of judicial abuse.
They say, do as I say, not as I do, and they believe they're above the law.
It started in 2023. That's when Wiebe says he got a call from Franklin, pressuring him to take a plea deal for a crime he says he did not commit.
9:13 in the morning, I get a phone call. This is Judge Franklin. I heard you have a problem with me. You take the deal, boy, or dead men can't testify.
Wiebe says those words, dead men can't testify, led him to accept.
3 days later, I took a plea deal.
Judge Franklin was not presiding over Wiebe's case. Wiebe can only speculate why the alleged threat was made. According to the lawsuit, Wiebe later provided authenticated phone records of the call and verified polygraph results discussing details of the call. And he identified himself to you on that phone call?
Yes, sir.
So he wasn't trying to hide this at all?
No, sir.
Wiebe's felony conviction was vacated after prosecutors filed a motion acknowledging that he had been coerced to enter the plea. In May, a grand jury indicted Judge Franklin on charges of official oppression for the alleged call to Wiebe and tampering with a witness, pressuring a clerk to falsify an affidavit in connection to the case.
You are not above the law.
Then, in June, County Judge Linda Wallace was indicted for tampering with a witness. According to court records, Wallace coerced the same clerk to withhold testimony regarding the allegations against Judge Franklin.
This should send a shockwave down the back of every Texan, because it could happen to you.
Attorney Paul Anderson represents Wiebe.
At the end of the day, for every conflict we have in our society, it comes down to a court, and everybody walks in expecting to have their fair day in the court.
While Wiebe awaits the civil and criminal proceedings, he wonders if others share similar stories.
And I'm 99% sure I'm not the only one.
Rains County is also being sued in this case. Now, as for those two judges, they are no longer employed by the county. I did reach out to both of them. Linda Wallace and her attorney have not provided comment at this point in time. Judge Franklin, he did not respond to us, but his attorney did in an email saying Judge Franklin denies all of the claims asserted against him and looks forward to successfully defending himself from these unfounded allegations in the criminal and civil proceedings. Again, Judge Franklin was not overseeing this case. I asked Wiebe if they had any sort of relationship before all of this played out. He says he had only met him one time before, and that was during a court hearing, a court case involving an eviction. It was just through that process that he knew Judge Franklin. Plenty more questions left unanswered. We'll keep you updated when we find them out, but for now, Clarice, back to you.
All right, David, thank you.
An Arlington, Texas man is facing charges after being arrested in Michigan for possible human trafficking. Police say there were several red flags that captured the attention of investigators on this case. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has more from police. Peyton?
Steve and Heather, officers in Michigan initially responded to a domestic call. They spoke with the victim. That victim started disclosing key information about a human trafficking ring connected to right here in North Texas.
Video shows 33-year-old Randolph Lewis of Arlington purposely hurting himself in a jail cell after police in Michigan arrested him. Lewis now accused of running a cross-country human trafficking ring. Investigators revealed Thursday Lewis is connected to at least 10 victims.
Some as young as 17 years old were coerced, threatened, and manipulated into a life of sex trafficking.
Police in the city of Southfield, a suburb of Detroit, were dispatched to a hotel on a report of destruction of property early Monday morning. A 21-year-old Louisiana woman said Lewis broke her windshield because she brought him the wrong food.
So you've known him for a year? You've been doing this for a year?
Officers started asking more questions. The woman eventually disclosed Lewis had rented out multiple hotel rooms, and she didn't even know she was in Michigan. The woman said she and other women were forced to have sex with Lewis and other men in several states, including Texas.
The two met in Louisiana. The two would travel back and forth between Louisiana and Dallas twice per month.
Inside the Michigan hotel rooms, sex toys and condoms. Detectives learned Lewis's victims were advertised on sex websites. Body camera footage shows the moment Lewis was arrested in the hotel lobby.
What's the problem?
What's your name?
Huh?
What's your name?
Randy, what's the problem?
Public records do show Lewis had an address at a home in South Arlington. We checked in with local agencies. He was arrested in Dallas County in 2024 for an outstanding warrant for drug charges, and also in Tarrant County in 2023.
And as for this ongoing human trafficking case, a woman, a victim, did come forward to police in Louisiana prior to Lewis's trip to Michigan. That is ultimately why he fled the state of Louisiana. So charges are expected in Louisiana as well. It's unclear if any victims here in Texas have come forward to law enforcement agencies here in Texas. Police in Michigan are still working to get in contact with those other victims. Steve?
All right. Peyton Yeager reporting tonight. Peyton, thank you. State troopers are searching for the man who left the scene of a deadly crash last month in Kaufman County, and the family of the victim, an 18-year-old named Brendan Ivy, is pleading for the public's help.
So the man police are looking for has disappeared, so is his family. They're from Kaufman County, but police are hoping that somebody knows where he is. Fox 4's Sean Rabb live now with the story. Sean.
And you know, his disappearance is simply salt in the wounds for the Ivy family. Brendan was on his way home from a Terrell restaurant when he collided with this work truck that ran a stop sign and blew through an intersection. And the man police are looking for who caused that accident, he jumped out, took off on foot, and has not been seen since.
He was full of life. He made everybody laugh. He played drums. He loved his motorcycle.
Through her pain, Shanna Ivy paints a picture of her son, Brendan, the 18-year-old, on the motorcycle he loved, killed by the driver of a work truck that plowed through the intersection of FM 429 and County Road 346 in Kaufman County a little after 11 p.m. June 13th.
He blew through a stop sign. He slid through the stop sign, and basically my son was coming this way on 429, and he slid right in front of him.
Because of an app that tracks locations, Tad and Shanna knew something was wrong and knew exactly where to go, getting to the scene where their Brendan lost his life.
He still had his helmet on. He still had all his gear on, his gloves. I held his hand through that.
We got to hold
covering,
him one more time.
It's
before he left.
It's tough, but there was nothing they could do for him at all. He was gone instantly.
This man, Victor Eduardo Mendoza Mondragon, is the man law enforcement says was driving that work truck that had alcoholic beverages inside, some containers empty. He left the scene on foot before police arrived, leaving his 22-year-old passenger.
The night Brendan died, the night my son's heart stopped beating, part of me died too. And I can't ever get that back. And our whole family's been affected.
Brendan, the youngest of the children.
I can't walk into his room anymore and mess with him or do any of that. I mean, we fought like cats and dogs, but I love the kid to death. And I would gladly trade places with him right now.
Ivy family attorney Jeffrey Shore says the man police are looking for, Victor Eduardo Mendoza Mondragon, lost his 18-year-old son in an electrocution accident.
For him to then cause a crash that kills somebody else's son after he knows what it's like to lose a son, and then to leave Brendan there is just, I mean, I don't know what kind of person does this.
The family knows someone does know him and hope they will help find the man law enforcement says caused their son's death.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
He had the right of way, and he was just coming home.
Absolutely. He was happy.
My baby didn't do anything wrong.
Kaufman County Crime Stoppers offering a reward for any information on where this man Mondragon might be. Such a sad story tonight.
It is, Sean. Very sad. Thank you for reporting on it and interviewing his parents, too. Thanks, Sean Rabb.
There are a lot of questions surrounding an officer-involved shooting in Haltom City early this morning.
The incident began with a 911 call from a man who was requesting help. Fox 4's Lori Brown is in Haltom City right now with more on the story. Lori.
Steve, the big questions that police are not yet answering are if the man shot had a weapon and what prompted police to use deadly force.
The ordeal began at 12:40 this morning when the Haltom City Police Department received a 911 call from a man who said, "I need police at the Heritage Apartments." Then police say the line abruptly disconnected. Responding officers located the apartment involved on the 5500 block of Buster Drive. During the encounter, police say a man who was initially hesitant to communicate was later shot by at least one officer. Police say medical aid was immediately provided, but 31-year-old Quincy Tyrone Page was pronounced dead. It is still unknown if the man who died was the one who made the initial 911 call. Texas Rangers are now investigating the shooting. The officers involved are on administrative leave. Page does have a prior history with police, including unlawful carrying and evading arrest. A Haltom City police officer spokesman could not tell me if Page had a weapon, but he said something led officers to determine lethal force was necessary. A statement released to us says the Haltom City Police Department takes the use of force very seriously and understands the significant public interest in such incidents. We are committed to conducting a thorough and transparent investigation and will provide further updates as appropriate.
We've requested the officers' body-worn camera footage from the Texas Rangers. It's unclear if these officers had any prior involvement with Page. Stephen, Heather.
All right, this is Lori Brown, live tonight in Haltom City. Lori, thanks. Texas Senator John Cornyn this week on Capitol Hill applauded Florida's efforts in the creation of Alligator Alcatraz, saying he supports a similar operation in Texas.
The recently opened migrant detention center in the Florida Everglades has drawn sharp criticism with allegations of unsuitable conditions and bug infestations. DHS says it desperately needs more bed space for detained migrants. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel in studio with more. Casey?
Yeah, Steve, Heather, good evening. Senator Cornyn's office told me today that he was not available for a brief interview to discuss his remarks on Capitol Hill. Critics have called Alligator Alcatraz inhumane. DHS refutes that and also confirms that it is actively in talks with other states about constructing new facilities. Following in Florida's footsteps, Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn this week, in a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee, says he wouldn't mind replicating the idea of an Alligator Alcatraz-like facility in Texas.
I'm hopeful that other states will step up to help in similar ways. If we could find a way to make something like this work in Texas, I would strongly support it.
Texas has previously pitched the feds. Earlier this year, the state's land commissioner offered the Trump administration more than 1,400 acres of land down in Starr County along the border to build immigrant detainee holding and processing sites. Belts of Texas land near El Paso into New Mexico have become militarized zones where troops are deputized to carry out immigration enforcement.
And I'd encourage our governor as well as Secretary Noem to explore the possibility of locating future detention facilities in Texas.
A ball DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says is already moving.
We're looking at other locations as well. We've had several other states that are actually using Alligator Alcatraz as a model for how they can partner with us as well.
What are some of those? Are there other states?
I'm having ongoing conversations with 5 other governors about facilities that they may have.
Noem wouldn't elaborate when asked which states or an exact timeline. Governor Abbott's office didn't get back with us Wednesday. Critics don't support the current one, much less adding others. From the jump, protesters, Democratic lawmakers, and other advocacy groups have alleged human rights violations at Alligator Alcatraz.
We have individuals 37 to cage who are sharing 1 or 2 toilets.
It sits on a 39-square-mile former airport site in the middle of the Everglades, surrounded by alligators and pythons. Current capacity is 3,000, with plans to expand to 5,000. Accusations from detainees recently surfaced about deplorable cramped conditions, infested with mosquitoes, water leaks. Secretary Noem told reporters,
Any issues that were there have been addressed.
While the American Civil Liberties Union has filed at least one lawsuit against the Trump administration over Alligator Alcatraz, the feds say space is urgently needed to keep up with arrests.
We need to double our capacity in detention beds because we need to facilitate getting people out of this country as fast as possible and to sustain our operations.
Senator Cornyn is running for re-election this year, and he has a Republican challenger, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, and recent polling does show a healthy lead at this point for Paxton. Steve, Heather?
Fort Worth police have arrested a man who they say walked into a gas station with a gun and kidnapped a woman working inside.
So they were able to find them thanks to eyewitnesses and the quick thinking of the victim's friend. Fox 4's Amelia Jones live with more. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, we learned today from Fort Worth police that there are actually 2 victims in this case. The one who was kidnapped and then another employee who tried to step in and stop the suspect.
Just before midnight on Monday, Fort Worth police say a gas station clerk at Penny's on East Berry Street was kidnapped at gunpoint. When officers got there, witnesses gave police a partial license plate, along with a description of the suspect and his car.
Witnesses gave us that it was going to be a black male wearing a dark or blue colored shirt, along with a blue 4-door sedan.
One of the witnesses at the scene was a friend of the victim, and that person had her location, which was shared through an iPhone. Police tracked the victim's phone to the Sunset Motel off Mansfield Highway.
When we pulled up to the motel, we did see the vehicle that was described to us by witnesses. We also saw an individual wearing the same clothing standing in front of one of the motel doors.
The victim was unharmed in the passenger seat. 25-year-old Freddie Banks was arrested and faces charges for aggravated kidnapping and aggravated assault. When police searched the car, they found the handgun he used to get the victim in the car and to stop another employee who tried to intervene.
Somebody tried to stop this crime, and Freddie Banks decided to take his handgun and point it at them and tell them to get back and not be involved. So we have 2 victims in this case.
Police say having the ability to track the victim in real time made all the difference in this case.
You know, if you're watching this, share your location with somebody you trust. Share your third-party app, because in this tragic situation, it turned out to be the best situation because we were able to see where they were at.
Fort Worth police say the victim and Banks don't know each other. According to public records, Banks doesn't have a criminal history. However, Fort Worth police say they did get his DNA to see if it matches in any other cases or if they get a hit on any of his vehicles. Heather, Steve, back to you.
All right, Amelia Jones, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. A former American Airlines flight attendant accused of recording girls in an airplane bathroom was sentenced to prison today.
Estes Thomas III will now spend more than 18 years behind bars. His legal trouble, though, isn't over. Victims are suing him and the airline for what he did. Fox 4's David Sintendry has been following the case and joins us now with an update. David.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, a sentencing document says that the flight attendant had no criminal history, but did develop an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. So basically what he was doing is taking an iPhone and putting it on the back of a toilet seat, putting stickers over it with just enough room for the camera to capture video. The attorney representing 2 of these victims wonders how many more victims there might be and who has had access to these videos.
It certainly gives him time to think about his horrific actions.
18.5 years, the federal prison sentence for Estes Carter Thompson III, a now former American Airlines flight attendant who pleaded guilty to secretly recording children using airplane restrooms.
I think the judge summed it up today. He said, "You took away their innocence."
Paul Llewellyn represents families of 2 victims in civil lawsuits, including a girl from Austin, 9 years old, when she was recorded.
The idea that they were filmed in the most vulnerable position, how could this ever have been allowed to happen?
A 14-year-old girl from North Carolina took this photo, revealing an iPhone behind a sticker on a toilet seat. She told her parents. They told the flight crew. The father confronted Thompson, who hid in the restroom. His phone confiscated upon landing at the Boston airport. Investigators say it had been reset to factory settings, but they found images of 4 minors on his iCloud account.
It was just so brazen, the fact he would do this, you know, sometimes just steps away from these poor young girls' families, from their parents. And we know of 5 instances, but anyone who's that brazen, who knows how long he's been doing it for, how many potential other victims there are out there. and probably we will never know.
Thompson also had more than 50 images of an unaccompanied 9-year-old sleeping on a flight while traveling to Disney World. Llewellyn says Thompson apologized during sentencing.
My actions were selfish, perverse, and wrong. That's how he began his statement. And he also said the word sorry is not enough and it never will be. And he also said, I want to change, I must change.
On top of the 18.5-year sentence in federal prison, Thompson is also sentenced to 5 years of supervised release. Later this afternoon, I did reach out to American Airlines for a statement about the ongoing litigation and today's sentencing. At this point in time, we haven't heard back. Let you know when we do. But for now, Heather and Steve, back to y'all.
All right, David Centendry, thank you.
We begin tonight with an update on the multi-vehicle crash that sent several people to the hospital over the weekend.
Fox 4 has learned the man believed to have caused that crash was involved in a hit and run the same night, just half a mile away. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager live tonight with an update on some of the victims and also the suspect in the case. Peyton.
Hi, Heather and Steve. Yeah, we're still waiting for Dallas police to identify the suspect in this crash. The suspect remains in the hospital, but we did receive an update from some of the victims. An Arlington couple spoke to me this afternoon from the hospital. They tell me that they remained conscious the entire time through the crash and were even able to walk away after their vehicle was crushed.
Newly obtained surveillance video shows a pair of vehicles parked at a Bishop Arts stoplight Saturday night when, in a blink of an eye, a red Tesla barreled through the intersection. The impact caused a Toyota to pile on top of a dark-colored Lexus. Inside the crushed Lexus, Celestino Rubio and Valerie Alonzo.
I just remember feeling like all the force on top of us.
Yeah, it started smoking.
There was definitely space, but I could just feel the weight of everything.
Tuesday, the Arlington couple spoke to us from inside a Dallas hospital. Celestino's still recovering from a broken arm. The night of the crash, he noticed his arm was bleeding profusely.
And I looked at the first person that had a belt, and I said, can you please take off your belt and apply a tourniquet to me? Immediately, high and tight, something I learned in the military.
Dallas police revealed Tuesday the red Tesla that caused this chaotic 4-car collision was speeding away from a different crash half a mile away. Surveillance video obtained by Fox 4 from 12th and Tyler shows the Tesla hit a vehicle, back up, and then leave. Police say the Tesla took off northbound on Tyler at a high rate of speed, eventually plowing through the intersection of Tyler and Davis streets.
I didn't see this one.
Cell phone video shows the red Tesla with front-end damage on its side against a power pole. The driver was taken to the hospital in critical condition. 6 other victims were hospitalized, according to police. Video also shows a little girl being pulled out of the teetering Toyota and carried away by Dallas Fire Rescue. The child's mother also injured. At one point, you can also see Alonzo in the white shorts being cared for by strangers who stepped in to help her.
Everybody helped out the community. It was
amazing,
inspiring to see.
Yeah, everybody just kind of came together.
Celestino does have more surgeries, so he will be in the hospital for at least a few more weeks. Meanwhile, Dallas police tell me that they are still investigating both of those crashes connected to the red Tesla. Following the investigation and the suspect being released from the hospital, that's when charges could be filed. Steve and Heather.
All right, Peyton Yeager reporting tonight. Thank you, Peyton. Deep Ellum businesses and property owners are calling on the city of Dallas to take dramatic action after a series of violent incidents. Good evening. I'm Steve Eager.
I'm Heather Hayes. Some business and property owners are calling for an emergency reset by the city. Fox 4's Lori Brown live in Deep Ellum with the story. Lori.
Heather, a letter from Deep Ellum property owners to city leaders puts it bluntly. Deep Ellum is not safe after midnight. They say the solution is for the city to start shutting down all businesses at midnight unless they can justify a special use permit.
We look forward to coordinating with the city to avoid hopefully even more dramatic action.
In a letter to city leaders, John Hutzel included a link to this Instagram video posted by East Chapo 1. It shows what has become all too common. A man runs after another man and begins punching him. We're not showing the video of the man's bloody face. Hutzel is managing partner of Madison Partners, a property owner and also president of the Deep Ellum Foundation. He says a midnight shutdown would
change the behavioral patterns of non-patrons coming down here with their guns late at night, making it scary for patrons to come to the neighborhood, and then also doing violence as well.
There were 3 shootings in June, and in the early morning hours July 5th, multiple people were injured and a 22-year-old killed. 19-year-old Gail Aguilar was arrested and charged with murder.
We're not going to be able to just police our way out of this problem.
Hutzel says the city needs to require special use permits for establishments to operate after midnight.
Some operators and others have learned how to skirt those rules and masquerade as restaurants, even though they're operating as nightclubs.
Stephanie Keller-Hudeberg, executive director of the Deep Ellum Foundation, says the city needs to hold everyone to the same high standards.
Proud to have a lot of very seasoned operators that know how to create safe environments that people can come and enjoy. And that should be an expectation for everyone.
Hutzel says just closing down 1 or 2 bad operators won't be enough.
The neighborhood has gotten inundated by people coming here late at night, not to just have a good time and get a little drunk, but to bring their guns and their booze bottles and party and get in fights, and those fights occasionally escalate into gun violence, which is not fair to the hundreds of good businesses we do have in this neighborhood.
Other problems include people violating the city's open container laws and minors getting served alcohol.
We have not seen much in the way of enforcement action of TABC down here in years. Deep Ellum is an absolutely amazing neighborhood during the day, in the dinner time evening hours. I take my 5 and my 2-year-old down here on a regular basis. I office down here. I love this neighborhood. Until we see some real policy change, it's not going to be safe in the late night hours.
A spokesman for TABC told me in a statement that the agency has 2 pending investigations into Deep Ellum businesses regarding the sale of alcohol to minors. Councilman Jesse Moreno told me that the city is working to implement a full enforcement policy to address crime swiftly and consistently. Heather and Steve.
All right, Lori Brown, thank you.
A White Settlement police officer is being credited for helping save lives after spotting a fire at a nearby motel. The department releases body camera video showing first responders rushing door to door at the fiery scene. Fox 4's Lori Brown live in White Settlement with this story. Lori.
Clarice, the police sergeant's shift was about to end when he noticed smoke. The smoke led him here to this Red Roof Inn, where the police chief says one person is now wanted for arson.
219's on fire. Hey, y'all get out.
When Sergeant John Banner discovered this fire coming from a room at the Red Roof Inn, he knew there was not a moment to lose.
Get out.
While fire alarms were going off, Banner was the first to alert the fire department.
Police! Police!
With no breathing apparatus or specialized clothing to protect himself from the flames, Sergeant Banner knocked on every room.
Hey, get out of your room. Fire on the other side.
Officer Wesley Gregory was one of the first to arrive to assist Sergeant Banner.
This may come down.
Officer Gregory says their only focus was making sure no one was asleep or trapped. He said Sergeant Banner's training and instinct helped save lives.
Great eye, great catch. I mean, it's easy to get complacent, and this just goes to show you that complacency is not a good thing.
Banner first saw the flames while filling up his car at the end of his shift.
When he was able to distinguish that it was not the restaurant, he was able to tell that it was coming from the hotel. He notified us over the radio.
Experts say fires can double in size every single minute.
Could have been worse. Thankfully, there's no lives that were hurt.
Chief Chris Cook says the team did an amazing job making sure that people were able to get to safety in the early morning hours before the fire department arrived. Clarice.
Such dramatic video and such great work from that sergeant. Lori, thank you. Police identified one of 2 victims in a deadly shooting. They were found after a party in South Fort Worth during the weekend. Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Fort Worth investigators still have not identified the second victim from that shooting, and they are still looking for the shooter. Fox 4's Deion England live with the latest. Deion.
Hi there, Clarice. That is right. Fort Worth police are searching for the gunman who fired shots, killing 2 people at a house party. A party at a Southwest Fort Worth home that turned deadly. 2 people are dead. A suspect is on the run.
We believe this was an advertised party. Some individuals showed up that got into a conflict with another individual. So basically, victim 1 and the suspect got into an argument. Shots were fired.
Police say the first gunshot victim was being carried outside toward the street when officers arrived. The medical examiner has identified that person as 19-year-old Emiliano Serna. A second victim found also shot was inside a vehicle close to the same residence. No official identification as of Monday afternoon.
He was doing so good.
However, a Benbrook woman we connected with via social media says he was her son, 18-year-old Logan Cantrell. Jessica Cantrell told me over the phone her son had been driving for DoorDash after recently released from a year behind bars in juvenile detention.
He was in jail for a year. He got out and he's on probation for 12 years. And he was actually trying to do good. He was really, really trying to do good. He's been looking for work. He's been being responsible.
Cantrell says she saw her son earlier in the day on Sunday and is still in complete shock. Investigators are trying to determine if one suspect, a person who they say got away on foot, is responsible for both fatal shootings.
That's what we're trying to determine at this point in the investigation, if the same shooter did actually hit both of those victims.
Investigators encourage witnesses or those with any related video to get in touch with police.
See if any homeowners actually witnessed it with their own eyes. If not, we're also looking for any kind of camera footage, surveillance video that may be in the area.
Now, police are declining to say whether or not they have identified the suspect, or, as you heard there, if both victims were shot by the same suspect. They are encouraging anyone with information in the case or cell phone video or video from a surveillance system to give investigators a call at Fort Worth PD right away. That's the very latest live. Clarice, back to you.
Deion, thank you.
He's breathing. He's breathing. Yeah, he's breathing. Yeah, he's breathing.
David 16, David 16, dispatch.
It's coming.
Hey, give me DFR at QT. I got a child that's choking.
He's breathing.
Okay. QT, I'm at the QT. Get an address and get DFR out here, please.
No, it's still stuck. It's still stuck. Whatever's in there.
Dispatch, be advised, I just did CPR or did the high rope maneuver. I got the hot dog out of his throat. All right. Hey, get DFR out here still.
He got one, baby. He got one.
Yeah, go ahead and get him out here just to make sure he's good. It's probably going to be, how old is he? How old is he? Ma'am. Que años? Que años? going to be 2-year-old little boy. We're going to be in the parking lot of QT. I just did the Heimlich maneuver, got the hot dog out. My body camera is activated. Man, it's the only one close to the hospital. I don't know the address. 4767 Ledbetter. 4767 Ledbetter. Hey, we got water. Agua.
Are you okay? You're fine. You're fine.
Hey, who speaks English and Spanish? Hey, is his mom?
No.
Who's mom? Grandma. Can you let her know I got fire department coming? Just to make sure he's good, okay?
You okay, Papa?
Let's go see him. We'll put him in the car.
A Dallas VA officer was in the right place at the right time this weekend and ended up saving a young boy's life.
Corporal Lee Higginbotham was just doing his routine trip to the gas station, and that's really when it turned into a life or death situation. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now live with those details. Alex.
Hey guys, and when you watch the video, you know that dramatic encounter was over in under a minute. But of course, for that 2-year-old boy who was choking, every second counted. As you mentioned, luckily for him, a Dallas VA police officer happened upon the scene while he was out refilling up his car. This is how Corporal Lee Higginbotham spends most of his work days.
Do some traffic enforcement on the backside.
Patrolling the grounds of the Dallas Veteran Affairs Medical Center. But back on July 12th, Higginbotham left the campus to refuel his patrol car. He pulled into a nearby Quick Trip, and that's when his workday suddenly changed.
2 people came running to my squad car with the choking sign.
A 2-year-old boy was choking in the parking lot.
He's breathing. He's breathing.
Higginbotham's body camera captured the chaotic scene. The 44-year-old Army veteran ran over and began doing back blows to try to dislodge the object. It didn't work. Higginbotham remained calm while he radioed for help.
Give me DFR at QT. I got a child that's choking.
Higginbotham turned the boy around and performed the Heimlich maneuver.
No, it still stops. It still stops. Whatever's in there.
Then success.
I got the hot dog out of his throat. I know I needed to take care of the child, clear his airway. That was my number one.
Higginbotham said as the boy's breathing returned, the color began to come back to his face.
It was nerve-wracking, but I was happy to be able to help him. I would hope that someone would do that with my child if my child was out there in danger as well, and I wasn't there.
The child's grandmother and bystanders grateful to the fast-acting police corporal.
Can you let her know I got fire department coming? Just to make sure he's good, okay?
And Corporal Higginbotham tells me that, of course, he thinks about that boy and wonders how he's doing, but knows that thanks to his quick actions that boy is going to be okay. He tells me that as a parent himself, of course, he went home that night and hugged his kids extra close. Back to you.
Imagine. All right, Alex, thank you.